To you this beautiful Thursday morning, the 12th day of the month of August 2021. It's Commanding Your Morning with Samuel Sinechi on your number one business radio, Broad Street Radio. I welcome you to this episode of Commanding Your Morning, and I believe that God is going to bless you this morning as we look into His Word together and hear what He has to say to us this morning. God has something to say. Your own duty is to listen and listen attentively. It's the day that the Lord has made, and I am sure you will rejoice and be glad in it. Yes, today on Commanding Your Morning, we will be looking at the topic, Put God First. Put God first. Put God first. I repeated the topic like 3 times because it's according to the pattern of Jesus. Whenever he wants to tell you something really, really very important, he always repeats the very first statement. He will say, "Verily, verily, I say unto you." That means to say that this thing I am about to say after this verily is very, very important. Okay, so whenever something is repeated 2 or 3 times, it means that there is emphasis. Okay, so put God first is the topic for this morning. All right, if you look at the world now, you would see that a lot of things have been innovated, and in fact, a lot of people are now seeing these things like God. Because before the invention of technology and before civilization, a lot of our fathers those days, they dealt with God so deep that they were having one-on-one conversations, one-on-one retreats and meetings with Him. They were having that fellowship with Him as it was real. Like you could feel, you could touch, like the children of Israel. You could see the glory of God come down and in the camp like smoke. You could feel the presence of God. You could see it visibly. Okay, God spoke to some of them through angels. They were interacting. But these days, because of the civilization of man, that relationship with God is beginning to water down. Because if you look around you, there are things that could do almost everything that you want to do. And so it's gradually making us feel that we do not need God. And God is saying this morning, I am God. Put me first. A lot of persons, when they wake up in the morning, before they got their Android or their iOS phones, they will always pray to God and say, God, what's the strategy for today? God, what's the next step? God, what are you saying this morning? But then technology has come. When they turn to the left and when they wake up in the morning, the first thing they turn to is their phone. And then they are typing, what do we do? They are looking for what to do. And God is saying, put me first. Put me first. The topic this morning, once again, for those of you just joining, is put God first. I'm going to start from Exodus, where God had to tell the children of Israel, this is what you should do. He told them in Exodus chapter 20, verse 3. He told them in Exodus chapter 20, verse 3, He said, you shall have no other gods before me. Now He brought them out of Egypt, and then He's taking them to the promised land. In fact, it's natural for man to easily forget the things that God has done for them. And that's why God is bringing to us this morning that we should put Him first. Put Him in front. And that's why the music I played before now, I'll put you in front. Whenever you put God in front, you will not forget that He is God over your life. But the moment other things are in front of you, the moment other things are beside you, the moment other things are around you, you will tend to forget that God is to be first. I'll put you in front of me, in front of my melody, in front of my career, in front of my destiny. God was telling his children in Exodus, say, you shall have no other God before me. And interestingly, this commandment is the first one, meaning that God prioritizes his position in your life. You shall have no other God before me. It means that no other God should stand in front of you except me. Why? Because he made you. The gods that you want to follow, they didn't make you. He made you, and he has a purpose for making you. And so if there is any God you must follow, it must be him, Yahweh, that made you. Because he made you for a purpose, and you have to fulfill that purpose for him. You shall have no other gods before me. Some persons are saying, yeah, but I don't worship any other god. I don't worship a graven image. I don't worship a carved wood. I don't worship stone. I don't worship an idol. But then there are some things that you worship and you do not know that they have become gods to you. Yes. There are some things that you worship and you do not know that they have become gods to you. To some persons, their God have become a bottle of drink, whichever kind of drink. That's their God, because whenever they feel depressed, whenever they feel they need to talk to somebody, whenever they feel that life's pressure is too heavy on them, the first thing they go get a chilled bottle of drink. And then if you ask them why, say that I just want to cool off my head. To that person, unknowing to him, that bottle of drink has become his God. Because that's the first thing he meets or relates with whenever he has issues. To some other person, it might be a friend. Whenever there is chaos, it's hello, I'm feeling like this. That's the first person to call. And then the creator who made you is just watching and saying, is it that this child of mine doesn't know that I exist anymore? God is saying to you, put me first. The reason why you have to put God first, because if you put him first, every other thing that you are looking for in this life, it will come to you without stress. How do I know this? Let's go to Matthew chapter 6 verse 33. It says, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. The King James Version says, all this shall be added unto you. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 and 6, to tell you how important putting God first is. He even put it in the book of wisdom. In the book of wisdom, Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. Put God first, so that he will direct you. There is no other person or no other God that has the map of your life or that has the agenda of your life other than God. But then you find it difficult operating on this earth or doing the things that you want to do or achieving the things that you want to achieve because you have put another God before him. You have put another God before him. What is that God that you have put before you unknowingly? It might be your television screen. Anytime you have issues, you just turn on the TV. And then you're looking for that channel to use to calm your nerves down. To another, it might be their friend, maybe their boyfriend or their girlfriend, their husband or their wife. Anytime there is an issue, That's the first person to call. That's the first person to reach out to. To some other persons, it might be their family members, maybe siblings, mom or dad. They have become their God. To some others, their pastors have become their gods. Anytime they have issues, my pastor. And you always hear those kind of people, you always hear them say, my pastor say, and I will keep asking the person. Anytime I engage in a conversation, and I always hear, and I'm talking with somebody, and then he says, my pastor say, I will ask the person, what is God saying? Every time your pastor say. Those kind of persons have made their pastors their God. Yes. God is supposed to be first in your life. Yes. And from what you say, it will show who is number one in your life. Some person's encyclopedia has become their God. Whenever they have issues, they just go there, look for those kind of challenges. I ask you this morning, who is number one in your life? Who is number one? God or God? Who have you made number one in your life? This morning, God is asking you, put me first. Put me first. Put me first. After Moses parted the Red Sea and then he was long gone, the children of Israel were to cross over to, they were to cross the river Jordan, and Moses was not there with the rod to part the sea again. God gave them a pattern that forever will stand. He said, let the priests bear the Ark of Covenant and move in front. He was giving them a pattern that, see, for you to cross this river is not about Moses or about the rod. It's about the placement of God. It's about where you place me. And if you must cross without wahala, you must place me in front. The priest had to bear the Ark of Covenant in front. And then the ministers in songs, the choristers, were from behind after the Levites. That's how much God, he gave us that principle so that anything that we want to do, the moment you put God in front, every other thing follows suit. They crossed the river Jordan without Moses or the rod of Moses because they put God in front. Because they put God in front. Putting God in front is not by taking maybe a Bible or anything and putting in front of your car. No, it's a thing of the heart. It's who do you first communicate to when you have issues? When you are happy, who do you first communicate to? When you are not happy, who do you first communicate to? When you wake up early in the morning, who is the first person you talk to? When you're about to sleep, who's the first person you talk to? That's how you can know who is in front. It's not by putting a very big Bible at the dashboard in front of your car, or by putting a very big Bible on top of your table in the office. No, that's not how you put God first. You can have all of those objects in front of your office or in front of your desk or in front of your car or anywhere you place them so that people can see, and then your heart is far from God. This morning, I need you to do a recheck. Check yourself very well. Who is number one in your life? And if you do a check and you see that, oh, mistakenly or unknowingly, I have shifted God away from number one, you can still adjust. Yes, that is why God is bringing this message to you, because a lot of us have drifted away from God, all in the name of religion, all in the name of culture, all in the name of practice, all in the name of what do they call this thing? Continuity. This is how our fathers did it, so it must be done like this. And God is saying to you this morning, put me first. Put God first, and every other thing will be added onto you. God should be the focus. If you're going to take a photograph of an individual in a crowd, there are people in that environment, but if you focus on that person, and captures the image, you will get both the focus and those around. But then if you do not set your priority well, you might be carried away with the people around and then miss the target. And if you get the people around and you miss the target, you have not achieved anything. In order for you to be successful in life, in order for you to go the extra mile, in order for you to strengthen yourself, in order for you to be strong in these present times, with all of the pressures, economic pressures, spiritual, physical, national, and globally, you need to put God first. You need to put God first. God has to be the number one in your life. I don't know what you have made of. I don't know which position you have put God before now, but I challenge you this morning. Put God first. Put God first. Put God first. Why should you put God first? So that every other thing that you are looking for. Silver and gold belongs to God. The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. So why looking for these things outside of the source? Seek him first. And when God is directing your path according to Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 and 6, oh my goodness, you will be like the wind. You would be like the wind. Nobody will know where it is coming from or where it is going. They will just feel the presence of, they will feel the presence of the wind, but they don't know the direction, where it's coming from or where it's going. Is that the kind of life you want to live? Is that the kind of life you want to live? You need to put God first. Everything Elijah did, he put God first. That was why God carried him. God carried him because he made God number one. God protected him. He carried him. Put God first. Join me again tomorrow on Commanding Your Morning with Samuel Sinachi at 7:30 a.m. on your number one business radio, Broad Street Radio. Remember to follow our social media platforms on Facebook. Follow and like our page at Broad Street Radio NG. At Broad Street Radio NG on Facebook. Follow us and like our page at Broad Street Radio NG. And then on Instagram at Broad Street Rad. Follow us on Instagram at Broad Street Rad. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Broad Street Radio NG on YouTube. And if this message has blessed you, drop a comment in the comment section on Facebook, or you could send a message to me on WhatsApp on 0809-791-0074. 0809-791-0074. Also download our mobile app so that you could follow through everything that we have for you on Broad Street Radio. Yes, download our mobile app. Go to your Google Play Store for Android phone users or your Apple Store for Apple phone users and download Broad Street Radio mobile app so that everywhere you go, you can carry Broad Street Radio along with you. You can also visit our website at www.broadstreetradio.com. I remain Samuel Sinachi, and you are listening to Broad Street Radio, your number one business radio. Still up at 8 o'clock a.m. is the news update. I'll be back to give you the news update live and direct from Broad Street Radio, your number one business radio. Enjoy the rest of the day. God loves you, and I love you too. See you tomorrow.